Thank you. There's something really good about giving framing remarks. Opening remarks, you have to make sure you thank all the organizers and sponsors. Closing remarks, you have to make sure that you thanked all the speakers. Framing remark, you can say whatever is on your mind. As long as you stick to 5 minutes, it will be fine. So I'm going to speak what's on my mind, and what's on my mind is actually two things. We're meeting in a place that has a lot of history and a lot of memories, and we all, at least those of us above the age of 25, remember where were we on 9/11. 9/11 led to many developments here, and we heard many of them. It also led to developments and crucial developments at the global scene. Few miles north of here, few days after 9/11, the Security Council adopted a landmark resolution, Resolution 1373, which came with understanding of two important things. First, that 9/11 was not just an attack on American soil. It was a global attack, hence it needs a global response. That understanding still accompanies everything we think about when we think about terrorism. And we heard it in previous panels. Whatever happens in Africa will not stay in Africa. Whatever happens in Afghanistan will not stay in Afghanistan. The second understanding that came from 9/11 was that we are as strong as our weakest link. Hence, we need to support every member state in their effort to deal with the challenge of global terrorism. And that led actually within that resolution to the establishment of the Counter-Terrorism Committee of the UN Security Council, and then 3 years later to the establishment of the Counter-Terrorism Executive Directorate, the body I serve. And what we're doing in this body, for those who are less familiar with us, is exactly that. We go from one country to another, so far more than 200 visits, to look what are the challenges they're facing and how can we be of help. Because for most states, whether we agree on that or not, the challenge is not a lack of will. The challenge is how to do it. And for this, CTED, as well as many of our partners, including the one you will be hearing from, our dear colleagues from the 1267, the Al-Qaeda Committee, are collaborating with the states and with donors to help member states to make sure that our weakest link is as strong as our strongest link. The second thing we do, and for this we are grateful for conferences such as this one, is to make sure that whatever we advise the Security Council is evidence and research-based. Because as you know, the UN Security Council can be extremely political body. But the second understanding of that 9/11 moment was that in order to counter terrorism, you need professional advice. You need to make sure that the steps you take are not based on narrow political interest, but a global understanding of trends, of challenges, of where the threat is, and how to counter it most effectively. So this was one of the main lessons from 9/11, and we just now, actually this week, CTED is commemorating 20 years of existence in which we supported many states and provided as much support to our partners and made sure that all the excellent research coming from experts like you do feed policy making at the UN Security Council. I have exactly 30 seconds, and with your permission, I would like to add one personal note outside of my professional heading. We just heard a few moments ago the moving testimony of Idan Alexander. And when I heard that, I remember almost 2 years ago when I was sitting with the Alexanders, close friends of us, at their home, horrified, devastated family, not knowing where their son is. And among the many ideas of what can be done to help them, it crossed my mind that there is one person I want to call. And that person is Ali Soufan. And I remember telling the family, listen, my cooperation with the Soufan Center and the Soufan Group is absolutely professional. I have no idea if they ask for retainer, reimbursement of expenses. Is it okay if I ask him? Because I knew that Ali was dealing with hostages. And they gave me a green light to do that. I called Ali and I asked him, will you be willing to help the Alexander family? And he said, of course. And then I went on and I said, Ali, just so you know, I don't know how this thing works, but if money needs to be paid, if expenses need to be recovered, the family is ready to do that because the most important thing for them is to get Idan back home. And I do remember Ali's response till this moment, I will never take money from them. So I want to thank you, Ali, for everything you've done to the Alexander family. I want to thank the Soufan Group, each and every one of them, for being so kind to this family. You gave them hope, and actually you gave all of us hope. Hope in kindness, hope in humanity, hope in doing things for each other in the most dark times, and helping each other. Because the only way to fight darkness is by giving light. And you gave all of us a candle of hope, hope for the Alexanders, and hope in humanity. Thank you.